So there was a comment yesterday on Facebook. Someone commented that fillers are over. They mentioned a couple of things about fillers that are kind of in the media at the moment. People are talking about fillers in a negative way. So I wanted to answer, are fillers done? Is it the end of fillers? The things they said, what do they say? Fillers move in your face. Fillers migrate. Fillers look terrible when overdone. I have to agree. Fillers do look terrible when they're overdone. And fillers can move from where you inject them. So those things are true. Fillers are not done though. I use fillers a lot. Fillers are 40% of the treatments that I do. The main three things that I do as an injector, non-machine-based treatments, would be dermal filler, Botox, and skin boosters. So fillers are not done. We haven't seen the end of fillers. Reason why is because there's a huge problem in the market. The last time I checked, which was a few years ago, there were over 1,000 different types of filler. And the difference between good filler and bad filler is huge. I've been to the factory in Geneva, and in Geneva, I saw how they make Juvederm filler, and they're making Juvederm for a long time, for maybe over 20 years. God, is it 30 years? Yeah, time flies. So Juvederm is on the market for easily 30 years. And what they've done is they've updated, they've improved their filler, and they've made hyaluronic acid much better. So first, to explain about the different types of filler, there are lots of different types of fillers. The old ones would be collagen-based. They're gone. Collagen-based fillers can cause allergic reactions, so they're dead. I mean, people are still using them, but nobody's using those as far as I'm concerned with any credibility. Then hyaluronic acid-based filler, which is a very small molecule, something that sits in your skin that is naturally made by your skin, but just slightly different versions of it. That's very popular. Then another type of filler, which is calcium hydroxyapatite, which is calcium-based. I'm not a huge fan of those, but the calcium-based one is kind of a hybrid filler. It's a mix between a skin booster and a filler, so it can make your skin look healthier, make your skin improve by making collagen over 3 months afterwards. But normal filler, hyaluronic acid filler, is the one that most people are used to using. Now, what the problem is with hyaluronic acid filler is there's a huge difference in quality from cheap to expensive hyaluronic acid filler. Before Christmas, I went to the factory in Geneva where they make Juvederm. They bring in hyaluronic acid, they process it, and then they do a lot of things to change the hyaluronic acid from its base state. Hyaluronic acid in its base state is quite watery. It doesn't really give any volume. So they make it into more of a gel, something that has more G prime, more lifting power. And then the most important thing that they do that the cheap fillers don't do is they make the filler not cause swelling. Hyaluronic acid molecules can attract up to 1,000 times their weight in water. So you can imagine a small bit of filler expanding 1,000 times. That's going to look terrible. That's what high quality fillers do. They've reduced that down to sometimes double or 6 times the increase in water retention. When you're trying to change the shape of someone's face, you need to know what it's going to look like shortly after. Now, a couple of years ago, when I used to go to conferences, the vogue was to have someone on stage who would be an expert telling people that this is how you make someone's face look amazing. You put 10, 20 mils into someone's face and it looks great. And yes, on stage, it would look great. However, if you think about people using cheaper fillers with that knowledge of how to inject it, taking that technique, using a cheaper filler, getting 10, 20, 100 times the swelling, it's pretty easy to understand how people can look unnatural. So for at least 10 years, the way I've been doing treatments is I've been taking pictures. I've been doing less than what I think is needed to allow room for swelling in areas that are more likely to swell, like underneath the eyes, for example. I use the minimum amount possible to get the look that I'm trying to achieve. So if you do the smallest amount possible, get the look that you're looking for, let it settle, let any swelling happen, and then add more afterwards. That way you can't overfill people. So it means my treatments are a little bit boring. They're not so wow like what you'd see at a conference. It's not a dramatic instant transformation. So most of my patients, that's what they're looking for. It's a slow, gradual process. But in the example of my mother-in-law, she's 52 in these pictures that I'll show you. At the beginning, she's 52. I used 2 mil every year. And 4 years later, when she was 56 in 2020, she looked a couple of years younger than she did at the beginning. So if 4 years pass and you look 4 years younger, that's 8 years worth of rejuvenation. So that, I think, is a great outcome. Could have done that all in one go. I could have done it much quicker, but only by taking pictures each time and making sure that I'm not getting ahead of myself or getting carried away. So fillers are not gone when done properly. The question is, why are people not doing it properly? It makes a lot more financial sense from a business perspective to just encourage a person to do 8 mils in one go. The doctor's getting the money up front. The person's getting a discount because they're doing it all in one go, but it's not being done right. There isn't time for the filler to settle in. There isn't time for it to balance with that particular person's metabolism. And if you're not splitting it up into several treatments, you're not reviewing and seeing, does that person need extra in this point instead of this point. There's no opportunity for the variations in swelling that happen in different parts of the face. So it's quite frustrating as someone who does filler properly to see filler get such a bad name. I see people walking around the street with terrible work and they think they're saving money. They don't realize how bad it looks. We get used to our own face as it changes. So the only way for your doctor to be honest and for you to be honest is to take photographs and to put those pictures side by side and see what's happening. And if that's done, that's how you maintain a natural result. That's how I've done my wife's treatment over the last 12 years. She's had at least 1 mil per year. And in total, she's had about 15 mils. And I've kept her natural by always taking photos. So if I take a picture and then at the next session, sometimes you need to say, no, you don't need filler at all. And this is what a lot of doctors are willing to do. Someone's there in front of them, willing to spend money. They're not willing to say, no, you don't need anything done. And that's a huge mistake. So we tend to look at the face from all angles. Yes, we do filler. That'll improve the volume of your face. But once your volume is better, 10, 15% better than most people your age, it can't get much better than that. 25% at a push. That means if you're 60 and you look 45 in terms of volume loss, we can't make you look 30 or it's going to look weird. So when that's done, we look at the other aspects. So that will be lines and wrinkles. So a small bit of toxin is where you'll use Botox there. And then if your skin quality isn't good, if it hasn't got a nice glow to it, that's where something like Profiler will improve the hydration of the skin. There are 3 other things that we do to improve how you look. And that is taking the dead skin off. So that's like making sure exfoliating, using a retinol, or just doing hydrofacials. If you have any color issues like pigment or redness, that's where we'll do IPL or some form of laser to improve the color of your skin so it's more uniform. We get age spots. Our skin is less clear as we get older. So clearing that actually takes years off. And finally, the texture of your skin. Your skin feels nice and smooth when you're a baby, smooth as a baby's bottom. So smoother skin can be achieved by injuring the skin with something like microneedling and radiofrequency. Those treatments, radiofrequency-based treatments, can tighten the skin, can lift the skin. So all of it together makes the face look great. When people look at the likes of Lindsay Lohan or people who looked, I don't want to slag off Lindsay Lohan, but people who didn't look as good a few years ago and look great now. Like in my experience, what makes people look great is trusting the process and doing a little bit of the right things. So trusting that you have a practitioner who's recommending the best thing for you, not just selling the best thing for them, is the way to look great over the long term. If you don't trust your practitioner, or if you don't trust yourself to not get carried away with treatments, you should be able to trust a photograph. So if you have your pictures and you have, accurate pictures that are taken from the same angle every time, that look from 3 different sides, not just from the front, the lighting is consistent. If you take those pictures and you can see over the course of several years that things are looking good, you're not looking worse, and you're able to be objective and not obsess over, for example, a nasolabial fold line that's your bugbear, but that nobody else sees. If you're actually able to objectively choose which thing will make the biggest difference for your skin, that's how you end up not looking weird and how you look amazing. And people are saying, how does she do it? That's the secret. So if you want to find out how to get the best skin of your life, I do consultations in Dublin, Warsaw and London at the moment. Comment consultation and we'll get back to you about chatting to me or a member of my team about how to make your skin amazing.